let's talk about where you were when you stabbed Alex various times. First off, which hand did you hold the knife in?
I assume it was my right hand.
This is Ezra being tried in court over the death of her ex-lover, Alex Woodworth. McCandless stabbed her boyfriend 16 times in the head, neck, groin and torso.
I want to ask you about the sexual aspects of your relationship with Alex during this time, meaning late October, November, December. All right. So during this period of time, can you tell us some of the, and I know it's very intimate, but some of the details of your sexuality or the sexuality or sex between you and Alex Woodworth?
Alex and I, when we began our relationship, sex was very vanilla, I could say.
What does vanilla mean?
Well,
just in case people haven't heard that expression.
What vanilla means is that it was your average sex. It was missionary. You're what a lot of people would describe as normal sex.
Okay. And during this period of time, was there some progression from the pure vanilla into some differences early now, November, December?
Yes, there were. I encouraged him to explore himself and things he might want. And we started practicing and doing these new things that he wanted to express himself.
Okay. First of all, in terms of sexual position, was there a preferred sexual position from Alex's that Alex told you he preferred?
Yes.
What was that?
It was called prone, as he informed me. And
were you face to face during sex?
No, rarely.
Okay. What position were you in?
From behind is what you can call it. He would often express this desire for it.
And were there objects he would use that impaired your sight at all?
Yes, he preferred to have my glasses off, and he enjoyed to blindfold me.
Was there anything specific about lightness versus darkness?
Yes, he liked it to be either soft light, a candle, or he preferred it to be absolutely dark. He enjoyed kind of the mystery of it all in the dark.
How did you feel about that?
I thought it was interesting and exciting, and I also felt I am very visually impaired without my glasses, so I get a little uncomfortable at times without them.
The first thing we need to talk about is how calm and nerdy she looked. One would never think she'd be capable of murder. But let's see if she would stay this way through the trials.
I think this has been out there quite a bit already in front of the jury. All right. What were your feelings, or what did he tell you about him referring to you as a boy?
Well, as our relationship progressed, I told him about how I identified in the past as almost strictly masculine. And he preferred that I presented myself in a masculine way. He often told me how confident I looked and how much he was attracted to me because he could call me a boy, his boy, and present that way.
Did you present yourself as a male to Alex?
Yes, I did.
What about the word boy specifically? How did you feel about his use of the word boy?
The word boy specifically, at first it was gender, as you can call it, but then the word became more possessive. I was his boy. It felt objectifying at times.
And what do you mean by objectifying?
I felt as if I was an object, that I was not Ezra McCandless, essentially, but I was just his boy.
As the examination went on, the attorney kept pulling threads that could fall in favor of Ezra.
This, traumatic experience together. And then there's another gentleman, Alex, who comes along, who she's going for long walks with. And they're talking about their philosophies in life. She described herself as the yin to his yang, saying that, her philosophies were very sunshine, his were very rainy day. So it's showing their connection.
Yeah, and she's showing the jury who she is, which is a complicated thing. This is a unique young woman, and from her perspective, do you think she is picking up some empathy in terms of, from her eyes, what her upbringing was like, or do you think jurors are kind of turning on her, based like, she's all about her, she's a victim, victim, victim?
No, I think they're setting the stage that everyone that she interacted with affected her, right? And they were all different individuals. They're making some comparisons with Jason and her stepfather.
On relevance.
All right, let's go back in.
Ms. Fisher, you will continue.
All right, I want to ask you some questions about Alex and his feelings.
All right.
All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an essay that he wrote. Okay. I'm showing you again from Exhibit 697, essay called Words, dated November 2016.
Yes.
All right. So, again, looking at the typed and the handwritten pages, have you had an ability to look at them before and compare them?
Yes.
And is the typed version just make it easier to read?
Yes.
Okay. Now this.
After that.
What was your reaction to these things? The wax, the chokehold, the knife, that one occasion. What was your reaction to these?
My reaction, I was very supportive of his dominance at first. I wanted him to feel like he can express himself. And I was also exploring. With the wax, it was different and it was a bit strange for me at first, but it was fine. I found I had issues with the prone position and being in a chokehold from behind. I started to not enjoy that. It was really just not what I wanted, and I had voiced my opinion a few times. It wasn't with my alignment. The time he had cut my pants, he ripped through some holes already and he cut them. And I was a bit frustrated at the sense that, oh great, I have to throw some pants away now. But it made me a bit uncomfortable because it was so sudden and so new.
Well, let me just take you back to something you said, because I want to follow up. You said you voiced your opinion?
Yes.
What did you say to him when you voiced your opinion?
When I voiced my opinion to him, I said to him, essentially, in this prone position or in this position, that I was sore, that at times it was uncomfortable and it felt as if it was a bit bruising and constricting for me. It caused anxiety.
When you told him that you didn't like it,
Yes.
how did he respond to you?
Well, it was quite crude how he responded, but he would tell me that it wasn't fair that I had finished and he wasn't going to get his chance then.
So you're telling him you don't like this, to not do it. He's saying it's unfair, I didn't get to finish. What would happen as either during, after, before those conversations?
During the conversation, he would express how he thought it was unfair he didn't get to finish because he spent so much time for me. And I would just essentially not completely shut down, but just say all right and just let it go, just let it happen.
So you would let him complete what he wanted to do?
Yes,
Even when you didn't feel like it?
yes.
Let's get into the cross-examination where things got more interesting.
Over your eyes, did you?
No, I had not said that.
And if I understood your story as you told it to us today, this morning, or actually this afternoon, you need Alex in the groin and the knife fell out of his hand, correct?
Correct.
And then you grabbed the knife, correct?
Correct.
It's not what you told Detective Prock, is it?
I don't believe so. I would
In
have,
fact, you told Detective Prock that you grabbed the knife by the blade, correct?
I believe I've said that, yes.
All right, and got it away from Alex by grabbing it by the blade, correct?
I might have said that, yes.
And you said that it hurt a lot when you did that, correct?
Correct.
Judge, if he's going to do that, I just asked that there be exact lines and that she be shown a transcript, because she testified she doesn't remember exactly what she said, but she's acknowledged whatever's in there is
This is-
accurate regardless of her memory. So I would ask she be given an opportunity to look at the transcript before she answers her questions.
This is cross-examination, Your Honor.
I'm going to overrule the objection.
Could I have Exhibit 196, please?
Is that the 23rd or the 24th? Counsel?
Exhibit 196
The
is
24th.
one of the articles referenced by Dr. Tillotson.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'd like to approach.
Thank you for clarifying that. All right, there's no objection out there at this time.
Please switch to the home just a moment. You were present in court earlier in the trial when Dr. Tillotson testified, correct?
Correct.
And you were also present in court when Dr. Tillotson testified at an earlier hearing, correct?
Correct.
And you were present when Dr. Tillotson showed a photo that is part of Exhibit 196 that shows what a hand would look like when it would grab a knife by the blade, correct?
That's not his testimony. What he testified about was what was in a learned treatise by Spitz and Fisher.
Specifically, you saw this photo at both the pretrial hearing and at the hearing at this trial, correct?
Yes.
So now your testimony was that you got the knife out by kneeing Alex in the groin, correct?
That is correct.
Let's talk about where you were when you stabbed Alex various times. First off, which hand did you hold the knife in?
I assume it was my right hand.
So you were holding the knife in your right hand, correct?
Correct.
All right. And if I understood your testimony correctly, there was one time you stabbed Alex when he was outside of the car,
Yes.
and that was in his side?
Yes.
All right. Which side?
I can't answer that.
Okay. You don't remember which side?
I just remember reaching around and stabbing Alex, yes.
In the side?
Yes.
All right. And he had his coat on at the time, correct?
Yes.
And you also the rest of the times you stabbed him, he was in the car, correct?
Correct.
He was on top of you, correct?
No.
You stabbed him, when you stabbed Alex in the side of his head, he was in the car, correct?
Correct.
When you stabbed him in the genitals, he was inside the car, correct?
Yes.
Right. When you stabbed him 3 times in the left side of his neck, he was inside the car, correct?
That had happened in the car, yes.
Right. When you stabbed him the other 2 times in the left side, he would have been in the car then, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And when you stabbed him in the stomach, he was in the car, correct?
Yes.
When you stabbed him in the right leg, he was in the car, correct?
I don't know precisely each wound. I just know All of this happened in the car, yes.
And, well, and you were here when Dr. Mills testified to where Alex was all stabbed, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you stabbed him then the 2 times in the back when he was in the car, correct?
Yes.
And the 3 times that you sliced across his neck, he was in the car, correct?
Correct.
Where was Alex in relation to you specifically when you stabbed him in the head?
He was facing me.
All right. How close to you was he?
He was very close to me.
Within inches?
I can't tell you within inches. He was in front of me. He was face to face with me.
You could see his face?
Yes.
All right. And you said you didn't have your glasses on at the time, correct?
Correct.
All right. So if you could see his face, he was probably pretty close to you, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you stabbed him using your right hand, correct?
I stabbed him, yes.
And you said you were using your right hand to stab him, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And when you sliced him across the neck those 3 times, was he
No,
also?
I'm going to object to sliced across the neck 3 times, and it's been asked and answered.
Well, in a different way. You may proceed. Overruled.
All right, well, let's do it this way. When you sliced him across the neck the first time, he was right in front of you then as well?
I don't remember distinct separate times.
Okay, well, when you sliced him across the neck then all 3 times, he was right in front of you, correct?
Yes.
Within inches?
I don't know within inches. He was
What?
in front of me.
Okay, again, you could see him at that point in time, correct?
I can see a person is in front of me. It's if I can see detail or not.
Ezra claimed she had stabbed Alex for self-defense. While that may seem like a way out for her, it doesn't exactly make a strong case.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Ezra J. McCandless, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in the information. And the answer to the special verdict question is yes, use a dangerous weapon. Again, you may be seated.
See the emotions on her face. That's not all. Let's watch the sentencing.
So, the court believes, and here's what the court is going to do for the reasons that I've stated. I am going to sentence Ms. McCandless to life in prison in the Wisconsin prison system, and I'm going to set the date that she would be eligible for petitioning the court for extended supervision at 50 years. It's a long time, but the way I reason this, that Ms. McCandless, if she does what she's supposed to do, follows the rules, that she at least has some light at the end of a very long tunnel. It's a long time. I won't be around. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be gone, like dead at that point. But I think, I've thought about that for a number of different reasons. I think that way that Alex's parents, I don't know exactly how old they are, how long they have yet to live, but that spares them to have to see the day Ms. McCandless may petition to be released and perhaps have to go through some hearings. It's a long time down the road and does not unduly depreciate the seriousness of this offense in the court's opinion. And if this was a death penalty state, there would be no opportunity ever for that. But this is an intentional homicide, and it is that serious in this court's opinion. I think people expect, if maybe not an entire natural life, but at least if 50 years is a point where I think most people can agree that would not unduly depreciate the seriousness of the offense.
What do you think of the whole story? Subscribe for more stories like this.